How do I get access to a different node inside of a scene? That's probably one of the most common questions that beginners have when they first pick up Godot. So we're going to be answering it in this video. Let's start off by creating a new script and getting rid of our rocket ship script. So click on rocket ship and delete or clear this right here. Right click on the script and do delete. I want to remove that. You can save. We can come back into script here and you can see that our script is still here, but it's kind of missing, like blank. You can do Control W and you might actually still have documentation information over here. You can also use Control W to remove those and clear this out. Now click on World, add a script, create. We're going to get rid of all the comments, so we probably should have used the template that doesn't have comments, and we're good to go. Now, the reason we're creating a script for our world instead of for the rocket ship is because we want to be able to get access to another node inside of this scene, and it's easiest to do it from the world. You can do it from the rocket ship, but it's easier and makes more sense to do it from the root node. We're going to animate our ship launching off, and we're going to do that using an animation player. So let's open up the animation, or open up our press the plus button so we can get a new node, add a new node to the world, and search animation player. Select that. Now, an animation player is a very powerful node. It allows you to animate pretty much any property over here on any node over here in your scene. So you can do a lot with it, and it brings up a new animation tab down here. So let's create a new animation. We'll do new, launch, and that will give us a little timeline that we can scrub through. And the length of this timeline is over here. It's set to 1, and the snap is set to 0.1. There's a lot of other things we can do down here. We're not going to worry about all of them right away. We'll learn a little bit more as we go. Let's animate the ship's position, and you can do that by clicking on the rocket ship and actually keying the transform over here, but you can also do it up here, and yours will probably show location, rotation, both location and rotation like this. This is a quick key for adding a new key to your animation down here, and so we don't need rotation though, so let's just key our position, our location. Click that little key and do create. So that creates a new keyframe, and we can then modify our Y position of the transform for the ship to be -112, and that puts our ship up here at the very top. If we move this though, it's going to stick our ship back down because it's going to try and play the animation. So we need to move to the end, then do -112. And key our frame. And you can use this, or you can use this little key right here to key this property. And now you can see we have an animation that plays from this keyframe up to this keyframe. Now there's other things you can do too, like whether it's continuous, which means it'll interpolate between the frames, or whether it will just jump between the frames. I haven't actually used these two before. This right here, you can switch it to cubic or linear. Cubic will make it a little bit smoother on start and on end. It kind of lerps the animation just a tad. So we'll set ours to cubic. And this right here allows you to loop the animation, so it will continue to play like that. And this right here allows you to autoplay the animation on start. So if we run the game, the ship will automatically launch. And we're actually going to learn how to play the animation from code. And we'll do it right when the game starts as well. So just like what this would do. But we're going to learn how to do it from code because it will teach you how to get access to the animation player inside of the world node. So come back into our script. And we're going to create a new variable. We'll call it animation player. And we'll set this variable equal to null. Now we need to get access to the animation player node, but you can't do that until this node is ready in the scene. And so we can't do it up here. If we try and do it, I'll show you how to do it. We'll use get node, and then you can see it will allow us to select the animation player. We can't do that. It says use onReady var animation player get node instead. The reason is because we can't get the node if it's not ready. And when these variables are initialized, they're not ready yet. So we're going to set this to null. We're going to ignore what it says down there because I want to make a point here first. And we're going to do animation player equals get node animation player like this and save. Now this allows us to get access to our animation player, but this is kind of a hassle, right? So Godot has some things that we can do that make this process a little bit easier. The first one is called onReady var. If you type the keyword onReady before a variable, it will allow you to get access to the node up here and not have to wait for the ready function. And the reason is because it basically just doesn't run this line until the node is ready. And so it waits. It says you need to wait until this is ready and then grab it. So there's one shortcut. The other shortcut is that we don't actually need to call get node. There's a shorthand, which is the $, that allows you to get access to the animation player node, this right here, without calling the get node function. So this is generally how it will be set up. And if you would like to do strict typing in your code, you could add this player, animation player like this, and that would make sure that this is strictly typed. This variable can only contain an animation player. You can infer the type as well, just like this, and that will, Godot will say, oh, whatever I start out as, whatever this variable over here is, then that's the type of this, and we can't change this later. But if you don't want to use strict typing, that's okay. I just want to let people know who do want to use it. I actually prefer it. Once we have access to the animation player, we can then call functions from it. So we're going to call the play function. This is a function inside of animation player, and it takes a string, which will be the animation to play. You can see it already knows that we have the launch animation. So we can play the launch animation right when the game starts. And if we run the game, you can see that our ship launches off right at the start of the game. And if you want to see the other functions available to you in the animation player, you can search the documentation, search help, type animation player, and you can see all of the functions and variables available to you in the animation player. And you can see play right here. This is the function that we called. You can see any other functions that you might want, stop or seek, rename an animation, get the next animation. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with the animation player, and you can learn about it here. If we click on play, for example, it'll bring us down here and give us information about how this function works. Some of the information you can pass into it. There's optional information aside from just passing in the name of the animation to play. So that's how you can learn more about each individual node inside of the game and what functions are available to it. And that is how you can get access to a node, a different node inside of your scene, is using the onReady var and then a $sign and getting access to that node and then calling play. If you're inside of this value right here is, since it's just a child of world, it's quite easy to just access it. That's why we switched to the world script. If we had the rocket ship script still, we would need to add something like this in order to go up to the parent world and then come back down to, whoops, I'm adding a whole bunch of stuff there. Come back down to the node that we want access to. So you have to kind of search the tree that way. And so it's generally better to get access to stuff in the top root node of your scene. And so you can, and this is my saying, and we'll talk more about signals later, but you always you signal up and call down. And so in this case, we're calling down because the animation player is a child of the world. We're able to call the play function on that child and make it animate that way. If we wanted and that's how we can talk with it. If we wanted the animation player to talk with the world in some way, we would then signal up. And that's what we're going to be learning in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon.